President Joe Biden spoke to two American hostages who were released by Hamas Friday. The two fell into the hands of Hamas after militants launched a deadly surprise attack on Israel on October 7th. The Israel Defense Forces said earlier that most of the estimated 200 people taken hostage that day are still alive. Israel says that the hostages were taken to Gaza, but their exact whereabouts within the enclave are unknown, making their rescue more complicated. Secretary of State Antony Blinken gave a statement to the media after the release of the two Americans. Blinken also vowed to continue efforts to release additional Americans being held.
No family anywhere should have to experience this torture. What I shared with the families, as the President did as well, is that the entire United States government will work every minute of every day to secure their release, to bring their loved ones home. They have my solemn pledge, those who continue to have loved ones held hostage by Hamas, that we'll continue to do that, working as though these family members were our own.
As for what comes next, President Biden is expected to present a $100,000 billion funding package for Ukraine and Israel to Congress. And House Republicans are back on square one. The GOP dropped Jim Jordan and its nominee for House Speaker. This comes after Jordan failed in a third try for the Speaker's gavel. He lost 20 votes on his first try, 22 votes on his second, and 25 Friday. Majority Leader Steve Scalise said that they will come back and start over on Monday. It's been 17 days since Republicans and Democrats ousted Kevin McCarthy as House Speaker. Wake Forest University political science professor John Dinan says it's been a very difficult few weeks for Republicans because of their slim majority in the House and a small unhappy fraction. We asked how long the chaos and division could hurt them.
The election of 2024 is a long way away. There will be a presidential election of Dominic. So we don't want to kind of say things are faded right now. But right now, at this point in time, if we ask voters what you think of what's happening in October 23 of Republicans and the House majority, it would not be a favorable verdict that would be given.
When Republicans choose another Speaker nominee next week, Dinan says to keep an eye out for House Majority Whip Tom Emmer of Minnesota. He's the number 3 Republican in the House behind Kevin McCarthy and Steve Scalise, and he has McCarthy's endorsement. And if that fails, Dinan wouldn't be surprised to see North Carolina Congressman Patrick McHenry's name come up again. And now to Winston-Salem, where a man accused of firing shots outside of a downtown bar is facing additional charges. This comes after police learned that Joey Hodges shot someone. The 23-year-old now charged with an additional felony count of assault with a deadly weapon. Authorities say Hodges shot someone he knew outside of Reboot Arcade Bar last week. The victim left the scene before officers arrived and went to the hospital later that evening. Officers located the alleged victim Thursday night, where they admitted to withholding information. And a Lexington man is charged with sharing videos showing adults engaged in sex acts with children. 34-year-old Giancarlo Blandino is facing 10 counts of felony second-degree sexual exploitation of a minor. According to court documents, some of the victims in the videos were as young as 2 years old, and some appeared to be drugged or unconscious. Blandino is in jail on a $100,000 bond. And Yadkin County Sheriff's Office tells us that a Starmount High School student brought a gun to school yesterday. This comes after the school district received a tip about the weapon. The Sheriff's Office says that a school resource officer and a responding deputy found the student with the gun. The weapon was taken from the student and the student was arrested. No students, faculty, or staff were injured during this incident. And staying in Davidson County, another student has been charged in connection to threats made at Lexington Senior High School. Police say a 15-year-old student has been charged with 2 felony counts of communicating threats of mass violence on educational property. The threats were made on October 3rd and 5th. This marks the 4th student charged after 6 separate school social media threats were made at Lexington High School and Lexington Middle School earlier this month.